Hi everyone, it's Paola. So today I'm doing something a little more chill than I have in the past few videos because let's be real, the past few videos have been a little wild and I feel like I'm doing so much stuff. I really am. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what we're doing today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what supplies and tools, software you really need as a designer. I always say you don't need all of this stuff. I'm not the one who's going to tell you what you do need and what you don't need, but these are things that are really going to help you if you're a graphic designer or even just getting started in the arts. I feel like these are all really, really helpful tools and stuff to have, and I'm here to share with you my favorites essentially. Right off the bat, please follow me on Instagram at Paola Kassa, and also I have everything linked in the description at all times. My website with my portfolio, my Patreon, if you want to become a patron and support this channel, the running of this channel, that would be amazing. Go check it out. And also my Instagram and things like that, social media stuff. It's all linked below all the time. Please follow me there. And also subscribe if you're not subscribed because I have a design and art channel. This is all what it's about, and I'm here to share things with you. So let's just get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about when talking about tools and supplies is something I just mentioned in my other video, but it's cutting mats. So I have two. They have multiple sides. I have messed some of them up with slashing them up and stuff. They are great products for all of the graphic design things that you're going to do where you print the project. So using these just really helps when you're measuring things out, when you have like a booklet or a printed project, a poster, any sort of like card, anything like that. You're always going to come back to the cutting mat, and all your printed projects you're going to fix on here. So it's an essential tool for me. I don't use them all the time now because lately I've just been doing a lot of digital work, but it is really helpful, and it's also nice just to have like on the base of your desk to work on anything, and especially when you get like you know, little like eraser marks and all these little things, like they just go onto the mat and then you just wipe them all off from the mat. So the mat's always helpful. I can go on about the mat all day, but I'm not going to. Let's get to the next one. The next thing that is on one of my essentials is in my little pencil case, and it is I can't get it out, the X-Acto knife. So this is, again, I'm using it in conjunction with the mat all the time, but the X-Acto knife is perfect for all print projects. It is a very, very sharp blade, so it just helps with everything and can get through any type of paper that you're printing on or whatever you're working on. You never want to use scissors. You always want to use a blade, and it just helps with everything. And you also have to be careful with these, especially when you accidentally cut under your fingernail. Don't do that ever. It's the worst. Moving on in the pencil case, let's talk about it. Micron pens. Micron pens are a must. They are my favorite thing probably that I use because I use them every single day in my work, in my personal projects, in just having fun doodling. Micron pens are the things that I use. I use them for note taking too. They're basically just a brand of pen. Like the ink is really nice, they're really smooth, and they have so many different sizes. Like I typically use, you don't need all of them. The ones I typically use the most are 01, 02, and 05. 02 is probably the one I use the most just because I like the size. It's like kind of thicker but not too thick. And there's also a marker one that I really like too. But yeah, the Micron pens come in all different sizes. You can go really thin, really thick, and it just helps with sketching for projects. I do a lot of lettering with Micron pens. Like I said, I do note taking. I use it for everything, and I feel like it's just an essential part of graphic design because, you know, where a lot of things start is by hand. Even if it's not drawing, a lot of planning and a lot of everything happens starting by hand. So it's a great thing to start out with, and they're not super expensive. I will have everything linked below in the description if you don't know where to find all of these things. But yeah, Micron pens are my favorite pen out there. And the last thing I have in my little pencil case box is a tiny ruler. Now, I think that you should have rulers in different sizes. I essentially have this very tiny one, and then I have a big one, which, where did I just put that? I have a big one that is essentially the exact same one. It's the same brand. And it is also cork back, so it prevents from slipping and stuff when you're working with printed out materials, especially on those cutting mats. But again, this is all stuff I would use together. Like all of this comes in handy all the time. Anything you print, like all through college, all of this was essential to me. Like through university, this was livelihood. But yeah, the mini one definitely comes in handy with smaller projects, smaller print things. I love the mini one, even for just drawing out letters or drawing out something, just measuring out things in my sketchbook. The tiny ruler really helps. And then the big one, obviously, for bigger print projects. This is probably more essential if you're doing a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of that kind of work. It's definitely helpful when you're in school. But then afterward, if you're not really doing something that requires a lot of print, you might not need the giant one. But the little one, I'm telling you, is so handy. So definitely this one. Now, if you're an artist, you probably already know this, but having a sketchbook or a notebook or anything where you can really write down your ideas, draw out your ideas is really essential. I have a lot of different sized sketchbooks. This is a small one I have that's 5.5 by 8.5 inches. This is a great size for like everyday little sketches. I have a bigger one for when I start planning projects and how that starts. That usually starts in my big notebook. A lot of my client work is in there, pages and pages of going through logo variations, stuff like that. And these, I mean, you're an artist, you know, you need a sketchbook. And I'm not even one for sketching. Like, you guys know this. You know that I hate sketching, okay? But I feel like it's so essential to have, and I know I keep saying this word essential, but it's just like the thing that I end up going back to, and I always want to have on hand, even when I think I'm not going to start by hand, I'm not going to even draw, I don't even need to draw, like whatever. Sometimes I draw on my iPad, but a lot of things start in the sketchbook, and that's just inevitable, whether you're a designer, an artist, anything. So definitely get a sketchbook, or just get a bunch of pieces of paper and put them together. Like, all you need is just a place where you can go back and, you know, fine tune and start projects. So that's what I would say. Now let's talk about paper. I know that you might be thinking like, wow, she's talking about a lot of handmade things, like a lot of design that would not be digital. And some of you are probably like, that's not graphic design. Guess what? It is. I know that there are so many different types of graphic design. I have experienced it. I work in it. I know what it's like. And it's just the truth. Not every aspect of graphic design is digital. So you might need to work with different types of paper. You might need to work cutting things up, drawing things. You might have to do all of it because it all encompasses graphic design. So let me talk about some paper types. And when I say paper types, I'm not talking about like printing on like cardstock or printer paper or any of that. I'm talking about like the paper that you want to use when you're working in your projects. So the paper that I think is really most important is tracing paper. Now, I realized that this was the most important when I was doing a full typeface. I was creating a full typeface, and we were basically like drawing out our sketches, and the sketching phase was going through a big development as you went through, because you know you're coming up with your initial concepts, initial ideas, and then you were fine-tuning it. So you had to draw out your same letters over and over and over, and then to like tweak them and change them. And this was so handy because I could just draw over the exact same letter but then change up a few things about the letter. Now, another paper that is really good is the Bristol board paper. Bristol board is very helpful for these projects where you want to present things nicely. You can mount things on Bristol board if you want to hang them up. Bristol board is a really nice quality paper. It's really thick. You don't really need it, but if you want something that is thick and quality that you can use across different types of projects, you know, you can cut it up, you can use it, you can hang it, all these different things, Bristol board is a good option. So that's why I would suggest it as another paper option for designers. So let's talk software. A lot of people ask me what kind of software, what kind of laptop, what kind of whatever do you need? I don't think you really need anything to be a graphic designer. I don't think you need to invest hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars into a software or a computer or whatever it is that you're looking for. There are a few suggestions, I guess, of what I would say you can have as a graphic designer. I'll say what I use, I'll say what the professionals use, but I'm not going to tell you what you need, because if you don't have the money, you can still be a designer. It's okay. It's not an elitist thing. It's not an exclusive thing. You can start from wherever you're at. So what I use personally is I have a MacBook Pro laptop, and to be honest, it's kind of old. It's kind of losing it a little bit. I don't really love it anymore. I need a better one. I need an upgrade, but I can't really afford that right now. So I'm working with what I have. It's from like 2014. But Macs are usually what designers gravitate toward because the Adobe software, the Adobe suite, works really well with Mac. It's basically like made for Mac essentially. It's really not for PC. Like I've heard people just have a lot of problems with it on PC, but that's just what I've heard. I've never tried it. But yes, the MacBook Pro is what I have, laptop, and I also have an iPad, which is a 7th generation, whatever that one is. It's not the Pro, it's just an iPad. And then I have the Adobe Creative Suite to use for over all my platforms because I pay for the monthly payment and I get the programs. I also have a student discount on that because I signed up for it in school. This is just what I use. And listen, I know that the professionals use Adobe, like most professionals use the Adobe programs. There are a few other things that people are using depending on what they're doing. You know, if they're doing UX design, they might be using something else, but I really don't know anything about UX design, so I don't even know what programs are. And then there's like random free programs that you can use online that can really get you started in a really great place. Like you're not going to be like really behind in learning about graphic design if you're not getting the Adobe programs. So the Adobe program is what the professionals use. They usually go for Macs. I would love a desktop, a Mac desktop. That's the dream, isn't it? Wow. And last but not least, I wanted to suggest a few books for my bookshelf down here to tell you where to get started if you want to know and you want some books, some resources to get into graphic design or just have on your shelf. So let me tell you what books that I suggest. So first is Graphic Design, The New Basics by Lupton and Jennifer Cole Phillips. I don't know if there's another version of this now. I got this a few years ago, but this is a great starting point for literally the basics of graphic design. So good resource for designers. This one is Design Elements, a graphic style manual. It goes over a lot of the general themes of design and aspects of art theory, basically, that you need to know to be a designer. It covers form and space, color, typography, image, and layout. So great place to start, especially if you want to get into type and layout style stuff in design. And this book, again by Ellen Lupton, Queen of Design, Thinking with Type, it says a critical guide for designers, writers, editors, and students. So if you want to learn anything about typography, how it affects things, just a brief history, like this really helps with understanding why type is important. And you know me, I love typography, so it's a really great starting point to understanding the importance. Okay, so those are all my suggestions and my ideas of what you need to have as a designer. Again, like I said, it's not what you need, it's just suggestions and helpful things. So hopefully if you are interested in knowing what are important tools, software, things like that to have, then hopefully this got you somewhere in a jumping point to start off. And yeah, I wish you luck in whatever you need to be a designer. I am here for you in the comments and also in my whole other videos and channel and everything. So like, hit me up, hit a girl up. I'm here for your design help. So I will see you in my next video. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Like I said, ring the bell so you're notified. And yeah, I'll see you around. Bye. Why is everything so dusty? My room gets so dusty so quick. I'm disgusting.